Welcome, everybody. We are here with another podcast. It's going to be about the CBL finals this time. That will be played on the 18th of August, the upcoming Sunday for us now. We've just had our quarterfinals and semifinals for EU CBL and also for the Americas, of course, the semifinals. And I'm not alone today. Luckily, I'm joined by one of the team captains, and it's the only one who has won a CBL as a team captain and is currently still playing in CBL as a team captain, or used to be playing Maskflamez, because unfortunately you're out. But I'm so happy that you joined with me today, so welcome.
No problem.
Yeah, let's just start with that, I guess. Everybody should know you as a team captain of Surf Slay before, now Story Enjoyers, new team kinda, or reshaped team. You guys were looking to get to the finals, but you got out in quarterfinals against Rough Justice. So how was it for the team?
To be honest, it was fine after the defeat. Like most of us accepted the defeat since
Mm.
Rough Justice played better than us on that day.
Mm-hmm.
So props to them, and it was fine for the team. It was fine.
Yeah, yeah, just better played on the day, as you said. And the match, I casted the match last Sunday, and I was really amazed by what I saw. I have to say, like, it felt like you just weren't able to get a grip on the match, right? I mean, it was a 3-0 in the end for Of Justice, and they had a really strong meta found apparently with the Iron Reapers and the Claymores buffing them as well. Were you surprised by what they played?
In terms of units, not really.
Hmm.
We expected that since they saved the Reapers, we even expected them that they would bring the banner in, so we
Mm-hmm.
technically ban it as well. But the comp they brought, like in terms of units they chose, we kind of expected it.
Mm-hmm.
But overall comp, they had a better overall comp in
Mm-hmm.
general, speaking in general.
Yeah, definitely.
So like nothing really like we didn't expect. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like they brought a better comp over.
Yeah, yeah, definitely looks like it. And all right, we'll talk more about it in a bit. So we're gonna we're gonna get closer to how you guys did, of course, in the tournament in this podcast. With all your experience, we're also gonna talk about the CBL meta, of course, because it's always different from the other tournaments. With the artillery, with the 3 lives, and also 700 leadership on the tournament server, which is something that you only have in CBLs. So we'll deep dive into that, and then go talk about the upcoming finals as well. But first of all, let me give everyone the results from last Sunday. For those who have missed it, you want to watch those matches back probably, which you can on YouTube. But the first quarterfinals in Europe were Argonautas versus Leftovers, and Argonautas won 3-2, granting Argonautas access to the semifinal. Yeah, Buddy won their match against Not Your Level in a 3-0, still undefeated. And then Story Enjoys against Rough Justice. Rough Justice won 3-0. We just heard from Maskflamez. Was a cool looking match, you gotta say, even though it was a 3-0. And then Nerf Everything against Hamsters. Nerf Everything won 3-1. They dropped the first game, but then went back really strong with the 3-0 against Hamsters there. Semifinals then for Europe were Rough Justice against Nerf Everything. And surprisingly, Nerf Everything took out Rough Justice. And I want to get your insight on that one later, Mesk. And Yeah Buddy against Argonautas, clean win for Yeah Buddy 3-0. The only team to be undefeated going into the finals. So now we have Yeah Buddy versus Nerf Everything final coming up on Sunday, and a third place match between Rough Justice and Argonautas. Then we go to the Americas. Over there, it was NSNS against Mortem, clean trio, and also the other match, TLC against Ego, clean 3-0 as well. Surprising results because the teams were definitely expecting all 4 of them to get harder series there. So now it's third place match for Americas, Mortem against Ego, it's going to be a good one, and NSNS against TLC in the finals with 2 nice and Maximus, 2 very experienced team captains facing off. You've played against them as well in the past, right, Mask?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
But mostly it was CB rivals.
yeah, exactly. And also Maximus, I think, with Bondguard and right, could be still back
Was with Vanguard.
back in the day. You'll sound like an old man if we talk about it like that. All right. So back to the matches. We talked a little bit about yours. Which other ones have you seen?
Not really much from the semi. I've watched like Yabadi versus the Russian team.
Mm-hmm. Not
Um,
not your level. Yep.
yeah, not your level. Yeah. It was a decent match overall.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't expect the Russian, like I kinda did and not did expect they would perform very well against them.
Mm-hmm.
Since we had some scrims with each other. Um, I think that was about it. And then we had like our match after that, so technically I didn't have time to watch the other matches.
Yeah, definitely true. Yeah. So, did you expect Rough Justice to lose against Nerf Everything? Because I know you've been scrimming a lot of teams, and you may have scrimmed both teams as well.
Hmm. I've honestly, I'm kind of surprised,
Mm-hmm.
but this also like it happened to us, um, like in one of the CBLs.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was season 8 CBL where we had the no, semi-finals and finals on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was like lack of preparation, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It was like we prepared so hard for a team, and the other team we didn't have too much time to prepare for it.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess, what happened with Rough Justice is that they prepared too much for us, and then when it comes to nerf everything, they haven't prepared too much
Yeah.
to
Could be.
counter them.
Mm-hmm.
This could be what happened. Now, this
Yeah.
is why I'm also against having quarterfinals, semifinals on the same days, or
Yeah.
semifinals and finals on the same
Oh,
days.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
very horrible. It's
It
like like doesn't make you concentrate.
mm-hmm.
It makes it, especially if you're facing against two good teams, like let's
Yeah.
say in quarterfinals, semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it very hard for you to prepare for both teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. Like the schedule is really hard for the teams, especially with I know that how much you guys you prepare. It's a little bit similar, of course, for us on the casting team as well, right? We also try to prepare all the teams, all the matches, and with so many games and matches, and also because you don't know what the semifinal is going to be, right? You're
Yep.
guessing like, okay, maybe it's this team, maybe it's that team, and then of course it's not never that team because upsets happen, and then suddenly you sit there and like, okay, no prep, out of the window, and then just need to make something up. So yeah, I can relate with the little bit of preparation that we had there, and it's a long day for sure. Like you guys started at 3 p.m. right? Then semifinals are at
Yep.
that's 3 p.m.
4:30.
CST, and then semifinals were 7:30 if I remember.
Yeah, 4:30 and
Uh,
7
yeah,
7:30.
yeah. So yours were six, yeah, or yours would have been six, yeah. So that's like
Mm-hmm.
probably 2 hours of matches, and then another 1.5 hour later. So it's a long day. Yep, and then all the prepping of course as well. Yeah. But yep, that's the way it was. Finals, of course, going to be a little bit easier. It's only one best of five. So the teams will be definitely having their preparations ready for that. Um, I would like to talk with you about the past CBLs as well, Mask, and we can compare them maybe to this one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how how do they compare for you in all the ones that you've played?
Well, I think the first thing we need to discuss is the schedule.
Hmm.
I guess because I think this is the main issue. Because I also like I'm not even participating in this, but I also saw something very horrible in the upcoming matches.
Mm-hmm.
Like people playing from 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock. This
Mm-mm.
is, to be honest, crazy.
Hmm.
Because like for Europeans it might be fine, but like there is also some NA players, there is also Russian players, and
Mm-hmm.
like
I've
12
heard.
for them it might be 6 a.m. for them,
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
on it will be Monday, so like
Mm-hmm.
they will have they will have their work at 7 or
Mm-hmm.
8 p.m. 8 a.m. So like
Yeah.
it's like they're not gonna sleep or do anything.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like straight up from
Same.
the match
Yeah.
to the
Mm.
work immediately.
Yeah. Same for the Turkish players, right? They are at +2, I think, from Europe Central Time.
Mm,
So it will be 2 a.m. for them. So it's like middle of the night. And then, of course, when the game is over, you cannot sleep right away most of the time. I know I
mhm.
can't. So, yeah, long nights for sure. Yeah, yeah, so the times are one thing. How is like the level of the tournament itself or the units that you get to play?
Oh, I mean, when it comes to the units,
Mm-hmm.
I think this CBL has the most diversity, especially because of the unit
Mm.
mastery and the balance that they had have done recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was really good, to be honest. Even the balance that is upcoming for this Thursday as well,
Yeah.
for the Siladars and Menatharms and
Mm-hmm.
Prefecture Pikemen. It's also decent, but it also brings some problems because,
Mm-hmm.
like, usually when you look at professional tournaments, they don't apply the patches that is coming,
Mm-hmm.
because usually when you come and apply a patch, usually there's some bugs that comes, and you're gonna play a game and there might be the meta completely changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is one thing, but the main problem comes with like more bugs coming, or like
Mm-hmm.
someone knowing about the bug and the other doesn't, and they start to use that against other
Mm-hmm.
teams as well.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
when it comes to units, it's really good. It's
Mm-hmm.
really good. The
Nice.
meta is really good, and also the unit bans like makes you to shift the meta around,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it more fun and like more strategic. You like
Yeah, definitely,
approach it.
definitely. Yeah, so group stage was really fun, I think, in a way that, like you said, we had all units available, right? So we saw a lot of diversity for sure. All teams trying to figure out what was good, what was bad, and then yeah, they just clashed. And then of course now you suddenly have to adapt, like you said, and maybe a little bit too much adaptation with the quarter and semifinals on the same day, like you said. But still, it gets very exciting matches, and you see that the really good teams, of course, are able to adapt, and others maybe relying too much on preparation have a harder time. But yeah, so let's go to group stage then, because you guys went undefeated in group stage, so that looked really cool. Um, and how did you feel about your team's performance during group stage then?
Well, when it came to the group stage, also one thing to mention
Mm-hmm.
when for the tournament format is group stage is really good to have.
Oh yeah,
But one thing I dislike
yeah. That,
is
mm-hmm.
like how you join the CBL itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to play rank and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
For us, fortunately, we were invited, so we
Mm-hmm.
were lucky for this. Like,
Yeah.
we could have still qualified regardless, but like still, it made us focus, like shift our focus to something
Mm-hmm.
else, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So like this is one thing I dislike, but when it like the format itself for the group stage was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe invite like the invited teams play in each group,
Yeah.
like the four teams play in group A, B,
B, C,
C, D,
D.
instead
Yeah,
of like
exactly.
having Argonauts and Series with us on the same group.
Yeah, yeah, that was a bit rough for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that right, you hit it right. Like, let's talk about all the things that we haven't talked about yet for comparing the CBLs, because it's we know that everybody's excited, right, about Poros picking up CBL straight after they took over from my game. So, okay, so like you said, so big difference from those who haven't followed CBL is that we do have group stage now, right? In past CBLs, if you lost the first round, you were out. And that sucked. For example, like last CBL, right? It was, I think, Kebabs versus Plebs in the first round, which was could have been like a semifinal or a final match, and suddenly one of those teams was out, right? And that just
yes,
felt
yes, yes.
those things just felt bad. Now with group states, at least two teams go through. Everybody gets to play three matches, so even the teams that may not be going to playoffs at least get to play three matches, right? So that's more fun because you need to put in a lot of work, right? Even if you're not the best team, just to get there, to do the scrims, to do the preparation, get all the players online and everything. So it's a lot of work. And if you only get to play one match, that's a little sad. So yeah, group stage, big difference. And then, as you said, the play-in before, what was it? I think it was the last CBL. They had sieges played or something, or win percentage in sieges, right?
Yeah, yeah. Siege. You.
Yeah,
I think yeah. The more you want Siege, something like
yeah,
that.
exactly. So that was also a little bit weird,
One
maybe.
one thing that was done really good from previous CBLs in Asia, of
Mm-hmm.
course, that I think should be still implemented was the like all the teams that want to participate, they do participate,
Mm-hmm.
but they do it in groups. So like it can be instead of it's like for example, this CBL we had 16 teams, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in previous Asia CBLs they had like maybe 20 teams, 30
Yeah,
teams,
they
something
even
like
had up to
this.
30 of, yeah.
And then yeah, like let's say it's 30 teams, they
Mm-hmm.
put it like three groups, for example, and the top three will qualify, something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's a
Uh,
few different ways. I know that in Asia, I think they had even like 50 signups or something. And you're right, like there's so many formats you could use. You can even use Swiss format, right? Which where you you have to you have to play and get two or three wins, for example, and then you are qualified. Something like that can actually be very effective in
'Cause it's
having
still
teams
better
play.
because like
Mm-hmm.
it could be still unfair to other teams
Yeah.
because like let's say there is a better team than us, then they couldn't participate
Mm-hmm.
because of the rank point system.
Yeah.
And but they don't like the schedule for the rank doesn't really fit their working schedule
Hmm.
for the daily life, you know. So
Yeah, that too.
they could not participate
Hmm.
because of that.
Yeah,
So
and that.
it's generally speaking, it's better to have
Yeah.
like just put them in groups, let them
Hmm.
fight, and the best just qualifies.
Yeah, exactly. It's always more fun for sure. And but then of course that's also part of that the fact that we have to remember this. Congress Blade Esports is not professional, right? It's all teams, big teams, by the way, like 20 players at least, um, that are not getting fully paid. Same for like everybody inside the tournaments as well, right? So there's a lot of volunteering still and a lot of like you said, everybody has works to do. They have jobs, they have university, school, so it all needs to happen around those things. So that's also what makes it look complicated. And for example, even with ranked, right? I I cannot play during the week in the evenings, but I can play in the weekends. But now, for example, during the weekends, normally I would be playing ranked whenever I was available on the weekends. But now I couldn't play ranked because it was locked hours. Of course, I wasn't with the team, but like that was also something for me as well. So
Yeah. So it's definitely we could still approach it way better,
mhm,
and we should also think like we should think it's professional and take it seriously as well.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's true as well. Like you can just go for the most professional way, right? And that's something that I think we're
I mean,
definitely striving for.
there is always room for improvement,
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's not like
Hmm.
shameful if you like do
No,
something wrong, but like you should always look for improvement.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the other thing, right? You always should look to improve, and also accept that you need to run with with what's available, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the other thing. Like right now, we had 4 weeks to do the whole tournament. Yeah, so that's why quarterfinals, semifinals had to be on the same day. Group stage had to be um, a lot of matches on one day. Normally it would be one match on a day, right? And now we had each team had to play 2 matches on one day and one on the other day. So that was also a lot of matches as well. So yeah, all right. So those are I think the main differences, right, between the CBLs from last seasons and this one in terms of how it was set up.
Also the map pools, I would say.
Oh yeah, of
So
course.
like
The map picks
one
as well.
thing,
Hmm.
yeah, like one thing is I understand that like the players were pressuring Poros about releasing the document,
Hmm.
and they kind of had to rush it from what I can think of what happened,
Hmm.
because like players were like if you look at the Discord, they were always pressuring like how when are the matches are
Hmm.
gonna be played, how is it gonna be.
Yeah.
So like they kind of rushed the document and there were some mistakes and happening. So like in my opinion should be like done before that. So
Hmm.
like if you want to announce there will be a CBL in June, for example,
Hmm.
or let's say on April, just prepare everything, or in May, just prepare
Yeah.
everything, and then on June you announce and
Hmm.
then you release the document and the
Yeah,
stuff, you know. So like it's
and it
more
should,
organized.
yeah, exactly, and it should be good, right? You wanna, yeah, exactly, like because now, of course, there were a few changes because there were, like you said, some mistakes or some things had to change eventually
Yeah.
because of changing circumstances, and then it became a little bit confusing, and there's a balance as well, right, between players and teams and just asking for stuff, and and then organizers may feel pressured and they want to release things, but at the same time, it's also the organized responsibility, right, to make sure that what they release is really solid and that they are very confident that it works and that it is the way it should be, so that they don't have to come back to it a lot of times and do it over or make adjustments. So yeah, it's definitely a
And
fine balance.
one thing is about the map pool is it's too much maps to prepare,
Mm,
which is fine if the time was given,
yeah.
but at the same time, like in previous CBLs,
Mm-hmm.
like for group stage they had only like 3 4 maps.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly it was 3 maps, and then when it came out to the knockout stage they added 2 extra maps.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like this type of stuff it's fine,
Yeah.
but like to have 9 11 maps, this is too
Mm-hmm.
much
Yeah, definitely a
considering
lot.
the time that is given as
Yeah.
well, you know.
Yeah, no, and in the end it was 7 maps, right, for group stage, so a little bit better. But still a lot of maps, and of course you have a few bans, so you can say, all right, we'll always ban these 2 maps and only
Yeah, the
and only
adaptation
scrim
to add
5, right?
two map bans was
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, yeah. It
So
was
that.
actually good that you guys adapted and added two
Mhm.
bans for each team for
Yeah, I
the
think so
maps,
too. Yeah.
considering the map pool that was there.
Hmm. Yeah, that definitely helped probably. But we did get a lot of different maps, and that was really cool. I think all maps were played during group stage, so that's pretty good. Are there maps that you like more for tournament play than others?
Me personally, yeah, yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, for sure, there are maps that I like more than others, for sure. I mean, me personally, there is a map that I really hate,
Oh,
and I don't
I
have
feel
a
like you don't want to
good
tell because
foundation.
you're afraid you'll spoil it for
I
later.
mean, at this point, I think everyone knows it, but like for example, Hailing Fjord, this is like one of
Hmm.
my worst maps. Even against average teams, I could go 1-1.
Yeah.
But when it comes to other maps, I think it's fine for me.
Hmm.
Any map is fine. Maybe
Yeah.
just Hailing Fjord. I really dislike this map.
Yeah. I know. I remember you guys playing on Howling Fjord and trying to defend Sea Point. I'm sure you remember that one as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I mean,
that.
if I don't cheese this map,
Hmm.
I'm gonna lose it 100%.
Yeah. So it's a good thing you didn't. Oh, you played it right this time.
We played it.
Yeah.
We played it.
So that's interesting. Why didn't you ban it for the semifinals or for the quarterfinals?
Mm, I mean, we were discussing with the team,
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to ban it technically, but at the same time, we were confident in winning Korak Castle.
Mm-hmm.
And for Healing Fjord, kind of, we can win the attack. That's fine, especially that the exotics were banned, so technically
Mm.
we won't have too much issue. But but we didn't expect that we would lose 2-0 on Korak Castle. So
Yeah.
like we wanted to like there's also mind games and the stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
like you can
Mm-hmm.
show that you like to play Healing Fjord. For example, against also in the group stage, we wanted to show that we can play Healing Fjord on
Yeah.
our last match since it was like guaranteed. So like we can bait other teams to show them that we like Healing Fjord, especially that they like to play Healing Fjord
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to a good team, for example, let's say in the finals, we can
Mm-hmm.
just technically let them scrim Hillingford
Mm-hmm.
because they like this map and they saw the game that we played in Hillingford, so they see our
Mm-hmm.
mistakes. So like, oh, we can just play it
Yeah.
and we can beat them in it. But we, when it comes to the finals, for example, we can ban this map.
Yeah.
So we
Exactly.
waste their time or effort on this
Mm-hmm.
map instead
Mm-hmm.
of other maps,
Yeah.
basically.
That's nice. There's so much strategy that you probably don't realize when you're only watching the game. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Um, yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then, so what I'm curious about as well is with the so we talked about the map ban and the map picks, right? And Haringfjord clearly not one of your favorites. Can you say which one you really like, or and maybe even just for like a map that's just fair to play on both attack and defense? Because I feel like there's not that many that are very equal.
Hmm. For attack and defense
Yeah,
equally balanced. Hmm.
I think for me it used to be Walford maybe, but
I think Wolfert is a bit of more attack favored
mm-hmm,
than defense, but it is kind of a balanced map, but it's more of attack favored than
mm-hmm.
uh, defense favored. I would say maybe Hidden City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say Hidden
yeah,
City
maybe,
is
yeah,
a balanced map. I would say
mm-hmm. Yeah, Hidden City is
out of
definitely
all
fun.
out of all the maps that is picked, I would say Hidden
Mm-hmm.
City.
Yeah,
Maybe Kurak Castle as well. Yeah, Hidden and maybe Kurak.
yeah. What about White Oak Fort? I know quite a few teams I think like playing on that as well.
No, I personally think White Elk is more of attack favor.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still on all the maps. You can still
Of
win
course,
defense.
you can always
But
win,
when
right?
it
But
comes to
mm-hmm.
ratio, I think White Elk is more like 70-30 or
Mm-hmm.
65-35
Yeah,
when
exactly.
it comes to attack favor.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then if you add in unit bans, of course, everything changes again, right? Because you need
Oh yeah,
certain
for
units
sure, for sure.
to attack a map or to defend a map. So could you explain for new team captains um, how unit bans change a map?
I mean, first of all, you need to know your own weakness and strengths,
Mm-hmm.
and then you analyze your opponent. And depending on what they like, for example, let's say let's say White Elk, for
Mm-hmm.
example. It's a kind of hard map to defend.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say your cav is strong, your team is strong on cav, let's say, for example, and your opponent is very strong when they come to play anti-cavs, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So like what you can do is, for example, ban pikes and then force your opponents to play on cav and they don't have a lot of anti-cav and you just bring more cav, so when it comes to defense it's way easier for you because there is a lot of flanks you can do on White Elk Fort
Yeah.
when it comes to cav. So
Yeah.
maybe this helps you to
Mm-hmm.
win White Elk Fort
Mm-hmm.
defense, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. exactly. And of course you need to have good CAF players, right? In the example you
Hmm.
gave, need to be confident that they can do the job that they're asked of.
Yeah,
And
it depends
yeah,
on your
hmm,
strengths and enemy weaknesses.
yeah, yeah,
So you
exactly.
can think of a way to make it that happen, to
Yeah,
make it work.
that's a good example. I like it. Yeah. So if you're a new team captain, listen closely. We got some good stuff for you. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, it's true. Like we are expecting new players to come in the game right now that CBL is being played, or hopefully the game's getting more exposure, and I will see how it grows in the upcoming weeks, months, years. Hopefully a little bit better.
Yeah.
In Asia, of course, they're also doing CBL, and I know you've played against Asian teams in the past as well, participating in one of those CBLs. Um, you are probably also looking forward to maybe playing them again this year. I know you're still in contact with some of the players. How?
Yeah, I have friends over there.
Yeah, right. How different is it in Asia playing against those teams?
Um, like compared to you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, these guys they play a lot together.
Hmm.
So, but right now like compare like this is for like previous CBLs, but like as of now, there is a lot of teams being formed. It's just like us. There is a lot of teams being formed right now in EU, and for Asia it's the same. They
Hmm.
have a lot of teams being formed. Some players they do still do play together, but they play in different teams. So it's kind of the same situation for EU and Asia. But the thing comes to the quality of the players, I would say,
Hmm.
right now.
Okay.
Because I think when you come to like approaching strategical stuff, I think
Hmm.
it's the same. Maybe EU is better when it comes to
Oh,
like
really?
strategical stuff.
Hmm.
EU,
Interesting.
yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
But when it comes to fundamentals, I would say Asia is better.
Hmm.
So when it comes to fundamentals and like avoiding mistakes and stuff like this,
Hmm.
like playing together with the shields and stuff like this, I think Asia is better.
That's so interesting. I'm already looking forward to seeing like Worlds Finals or something in the future, like League of Legends or other games. Would be so cool, man.
Yeah, one day, one day.
Oh, absolutely, one day. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, we'll get there soon. Ah, all right. You're getting me excited. Okay, let's start talking about the finals. We got a couple minutes left. So, with the upcoming finals, third place Argonautas versus Rough Justice. Who do you give it and why?
I would give it to Rough Justice
Hmm.
since we lost to
Yeah,
them
you
and
have
we
to.
beat
Yeah,
Argonauts.
exactly.
So I would give it to Rough Justice.
All right. And then, of course, the big one. No. Let's go to America's first, the other third place match. So we have Mortem against Ego. Have you seen any of those?
No, I haven't been on track
That's fine.
with
That's fine.
NA.
Okay, so then I'll give you guys a rundown. So Mortem is a mix of South American players and NA players, and they are led by Gotchi. Anyone who's in part of the region knows him probably, and yeah, they play pretty aggressive. They got a cool play style, and then we have Egos, and they're led by Yasuru and Icy, and those guys are they have been in the tournament scene for a long time as well, especially lately with CB Rivals also getting active. And both teams are making massive improvements, and I know Mortem and Ego have been scrimming each other a lot. So Mortem even said in one of the interviews that they're a little bit afraid of Ego. So I gotta give it to Ego for that third place match. But truth be told, Mortem definitely up for it probably. And then the finals. Okay, so Europe first. Yeah, Buddy versus Nerve Everything. Yeah, Buddy, you know really well, of course. Nerve Everything, I think you know most of their players as well. So how about that one?
I mean, I have a question because I have
Yeah.
seen in the document that it says like the least picked map will be played on the first two games. So I'm
No,
assuming
no,
it's Ogolia, but I don't know if this is for the finals
no,
or
no,
if it's
no.
the finals for the NAEU.
Yeah, yeah. So the finals will be similar bands. So it will be like two bands on each side, and then pick one, pick one.
Mm,
Yeah.
I
And
see.
then it's a best of five, right? So two maps get to be played, each one attacking once and defending once on both maps, and then grasslands if it goes to the fifth game.
Well, there will be a shift in the meta
Hmm.
in
Yeah,
this coming
slightly.
week because of the
I,
Saladar
yeah,
buff
I do know
and
that
other nerfs.
all
Mm.
teams have like gentleman's agreement basically to not play Sildars. So that's something that will be pretty big. But there are still, of
Okay.
course, the changes to the men at arms and the prefecture bikes, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. I mean, I don't wanna like say Nerf everything cannot win, but they have a chance.
Hmm.
If they definitely cheese some maps and cheese some strats, they can definitely win. But I would say Yabad is definitely favored in this matchup. But again, I don't want to say Nerf everything cannot win because they can definitely win, just like Rough Justice. No one expected that they would lose against the Rough Justice would lose against Nerf everything. So technically, Nerf everything can still win against your buddy.
Hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
S-
I agree with you though. Like, yeah,
But the
buddy.
favorite, I would say your buddy is the
Yeah,
favorite,
right.
definitely.
They've played finals already, like last season CBR. They've also have a lot of experience with all the players with CBL as well, and
Mhm.
so yeah, on paper, yeah, buddy definitely favored. I agree, like no doubt. But
Yeah, it's
we,
gonna come to cheesing strat and
yeah,
picks and maps to
mm-hmm.
be honest with you.
Yeah, and also something that I noticed was that Nerve Everything often makes small mistakes in their games, especially their first game. And against a
Mm,
team like yeah, buddy, like if you are behind you, it will be really hard to come back. I think.
yeah, yeah.
So it's gonna be
It's
interesting
gonna
to see.
depend on how mentally you can handle it as well.
Yeah, exactly. If they start out strong, then Nerve Everything I think can do really well. But if they start a little
But
weak,
all
it's
yeah,
gonna be
but
easy
also
enough.
not everything has also CBL champs and
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
same goes to they have CBL champs and non CBL champs and non CBL champs and same
Hmm.
goes to Yabadi as well.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting for sure to
Oh
see
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like
how it's gonna be played.
yeah, the level of the final is going to be really high for sure. Like the individual players are all extremely good, and then it's gonna come down probably to strategy, like you said, and execution on the day, of course. So it's gonna be exciting. All right, then for Americas, we got TLC led by Maximus against NSNS, No Scrim No Strat, led by Two Nice, two teams with a lot of guys from former NA superstar teams, I guess, like Bond Guard, but also Chocolate Paladins, one Goblins Once Upon a Time, and other teams. So both teams really high level there. Like they're basically saying like the only two good teams in NA, and probably true. Um, so do you have a favorite with those two teams, or you just want to get a 3-2 and have an exciting series?
Now I would say Maximus team
Oh yeah.
might win.
Mm-mm.
I would say they can.
All right.
But it will be a close match, but I think Maximus team.
All right. So you're giving the hamburgers to Maximus then. Sounds
The
good. Sounds good. All right. Yeah, I'll have to see. I just love the story going into the match, right? Because both teams know each other really well. Maximus and Two Knights have been playing together as well on teams, and now they're both going their own way, which is a cool story. Then we have NSNS playing a lot of exotic units, but they also have Watson on the longbow, right? He's just a hero for us on the casting at least, because he always takes out all the fucking at the other Sicalian. But then TLC don't really play that many specialists and rely more on their strong front line. So it's gonna be so interesting to see like what's gonna happen in the finals between these two teams. I think, to be honest, I'm almost looking forward more to the Americas match because I feel like it could be closer. But of course, like you
For
said,
sure. Yeah, I think any match will be definitely closer than the.
you know, of course it might change.
But
Yeah,
but you never know.
exactly.
Surprises could happen.
Exactly. We've seen many surprises last weekend, so
Yeah,
we
100%.
we could be in for more. That's for sure. Yeah, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see. All right, sounds good. Um, yeah, that's really good, man. Okay, so anything else you would like to say before we close out this podcast?
Mm, Maybe just improve the CBL in general,
Yeah,
and
it's a
don't
good
put semifinals and quarterfinals at the same day.
idea. We'll forward that for sure, and we're definitely gonna improve on CBL. I'm sure. Like with all the feedback from the community, everyone is really excited to get more. That's clear. So
Yeah, and hopefully maybe keep the same patch for
yeah,
the
yeah, for sure.
CBL whole for the whole
Mhm.
CBL.
Yeah, that's always a nice thing to have for sure in the future. I hope we'll get there with Poros. I'm sure they are supporting of all the esports development, so pretty sure that we'll get their help in making CBL and everything even better. So with that said, we're gonna close out this podcast. It's gonna be the last one before finals, guys. Tune in on Sunday, 18th of August. We're gonna start at 3:30 p.m. CEST, which should be 9:30 Eastern time, and should be what is it? 3, 4, 5, like 5:30 probably for Turkey, right? Mask, I think so. 2 hours later. So
I
just
think it's
around
one
that,
hour.
keep an eye on the Discord or the news, and you won't miss any matches. And if you do, you can watch them back on YouTube. It's gonna be hype matches, that's for sure. We talked about them already. So tune in on Sundays, have fun, enjoy the content. There's some coming up. Not only the podcast, we also got some special trailers for you prepared. So it's gonna be huge again on the Sundays. And yeah, join the team. It's fun. We'll see you next season in CBL Esports.
See you.